Every day on my trip to Qingdao, China, I'm noticing more and more similarities between this city and Chicago. And I'm not just talking about all the beer drinking. I'm also talking about the European-influenced architecture, the fact the city is on the water, and they even have an Edgewater hotel. With such a big oceanfront playground, of course Qingdao offers all kinds of water sports, for this is the sailing city. That didn't go unnoticed by the Olympic Committee when they were looking for the right place to hold the 2008 sailing competition. It was a proud moment for Qingdao, and they spared no expense for the opening ceremony. It was, in a word, spectacular. Geographically blessed with many inlets and small islands, so there are 450 miles of shoreline, enough for everyone to enjoy. And because the weather is relatively mild, water sports are almost always an option. Parasailing, windsurfing, and if you don't know what you're doing, there are people to teach you. If sailing isn't your speed, Qingdao has what was formerly a naval pier jutting out into the beautiful bay. Sound familiar, Chicagoans? Zhanxiao Pier was built in 1891 when Qingdao was still under German occupation. Today, it's a favorite spot for a stroll by visiting tourists and locals alike. At the end of the pier, there's a two-storied pavilion named Hui Lai Ko, or Ripple Diverging Pavilion. This iconic structure was built in 1930 and is seen around the world every day. Why? Because it's on the label of every Qingdao beer bottle. The pier is usually packed with vendors, food, and people feeding the hungry seagulls. And it's one of the best places to get a great view of the entire city. And speaking of great views, Xiaoyushan Park, or Little Fish Hill, is just a short distance from the pier. It's characterized by its three distinctive pavilions, perched high on a tree-covered hill and built in the Chinese classical style. Visitors consider it one of the top 10 scenic spots in Qingdao. Another iconic landmark is the Qingdao Lighthouse. The white marble beacon was, you guessed it, German-built in 1900 and served as an important navigation point for ships heading to and from the port. Located on Little Qingdao Isle, also known as Instrument Island, this small piece of land is stunningly beautiful, and it's not the only island just offshore. On a nice day like this, you can see all the way over to Qingdao, a small island with a busy port, a lot of new housing, and even more beautiful beaches. I know, this is getting a little ridiculous, but here's another Chicago parallel. Qingdao also has an aquarium, and like our shed, it was built in the 1930s, has been updated, and has kept much of its vintage appearance. And both are pioneering facilities with many firsts. As one of China's largest seaports, Qingdao handles millions of tons of freight. It's also the headquarters for the Chinese North Sea Fleet and offers passenger service to many points of interest around the Yellow Sea. I've spent most of my time on this trip to China exploring sites in the city of Qingdao. Today, though, I'm very excited because we're headed out of the city and up to the mountains to a special place called Laoshan. Laoshan is only an hour's drive outside Qingdao, and yet it feels like a world away. Be ready for a healthy walk, though, which is worth it to see the crystal clear mountain waters. Laoshan, the birthplace of Taoism, was once populated by thousands of Taoist nuns and monks. Taoism emphasizes compassion, moderation, humility, and harmony with nature and the universe. Laoshan is also famous as the only mountain in China to reach the sea, and it seemingly rises from the water. It is said to be the home of supernatural spirits because many centuries ago, Emperor Qin Shi Huang came here to visit so-called supernatural beings. People still say the spring water produced here can cure chronic diseases, and it's also a vital ingredient for Qingdao beer. The place does have a sacred spiritual feel about it, with its oddly shaped rocks, ancient trees, and of course those bubbling, misting waters. This peaceful spot is a must-see for anyone visiting Qingdao.